This final part of the Christmas story is seriously grim. We go quickly from heralding angels and the joy of a new life to the story of Mary and Joseph becoming political refugees and fleeing into the night with their newborn baby. And frankly, each year I am tempted to skip over this part of the story. It's not my favorite part of the Christmas tale. Especially as we begin a new year, we're so inclined towards optimism and hope, rather than reading the story through to this dark ending. But today, as we stand at the dawning moments of 2017, I feel compelled to look at the whole Christmas story. Perhaps this year it was the images of Aleppo that I have been looking at for so many months on my TV and through social media, in the newspapers, everywhere. Perhaps it's the images of the boats full of refugees desperately trying to make a new home, the people fleeing from political violence, the people who look exactly like Mary and Joseph and the baby Jesus. Perhaps it was the fact that 2016 took from us Prince and David Bowie, Alan Rickman, Gene Wilder and Carrie Fisher, people who since birth, for me, have shaped my sense of self. People who taught me that there is power and beauty in owning your own story, in being who you truly are. Perhaps it was the election that compelled me to read this part of Matthew, or the rising tide of hate crimes in this country, or the looming fear of a nuclear arms race. Perhaps it was the fact that I walked with many of you through the challenges of 2016. And I know that you experienced profound loss in this past year and profound challenges. Now, just like in the Christmas narrative, joy and sorrow are held together. 2016 wasn't all bad. You can just ask any Cubs fan. But I think it's true that as we stand on the start of a new year, we stand in a moment of uncertainty, of rising fear, of anguish, and a sense of looming darkness. This story from Matthew speaks to us in this moment. If we can see ourselves in our world in this passage about Jesus, Mary, and Joseph fleeing as refugees, if we can see our world in this passage, then I am left wondering, what is the good news? What is the good news of this story? And if good news is too much of a stretch, then what is the truth that we can find here? If we can see our world in this story, then what can this story teach us about ourselves and the days to come? Matthew chapter 2, verse 13 reads, "Now after the wise men had left, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream and said, 'Get up and take the child and his mother and flee to Egypt, and remain there until I tell you, for Herod is about to search for the child to try to destroy him.'" The angel will return to Mary and Joseph and Jesus many years later to tell them that Herod has died and that it is safe for them to return to their homeland. And this part with the angel, it is a very small piece of the story. It is just one little line, just the merest mention. But for me, it is one of the most profoundly moving parts of this passage. I imagine Mary and Joseph with their newborn baby, like countless of other refugees, fleeing into the night, terrified. And I imagine the angel hovering over them, surrounding them and lifting them up in love and light. The angel that is that embodiment of God's love for us, with them as they travel into the uncertainty of Egypt. And this is one of the truths of this passage. No matter how terrible 2016 has been for us, and no matter the struggles of 2017, God is with us. Love is with us just as love has always been with us. Love is with the oppressed. Love is standing beside the terrified. Love is with the homeless on the streets, and love is sitting beside the displaced. And the other truth of this passage is a related one. As a Christian, I believe that Jesus was God, mysteriously fully human and fully divine. And so when I read this story, I see a story about how God was a refugee child. A story about how God was a homeless newborn. A story about how God was displaced. And there is something incredibly profound, I think, for Christians and non-Christians alike, about seeing the face of God, seeing the divine spark in the face of the oppressed, in recognizing God among those who are marginalized and displaced. Jesus was a refugee, and so my God is a displaced God. So for me, this story tells us not only that love will be with us through all things, that love will be with us, but it also teaches me that no matter what will come in this new year, that we will encounter God through those who are marginalized, that the oppressed will lead us to the divine, that encountering those who are not like me, who are not privileged, that is how I can learn about the divine. And that is an important lesson that I have to learn and relearn throughout my life. I will encounter God not simply through people who look like me, but also through people who do not look like me, through the oppressed and the marginalized, the displaced and the homeless, the fearful and the terrified. What does this mean for all of us as we enter into this new year? There's a hymn, which is not my favorite hymn, that refers to God as a fortress and a shield. And this has been imagery that has never spoken to me until now. I have a sense as I enter into this new year that love is our shield, and that love will be the fortress, our home that we will make. It will be with us wherever we go and will be our constant companion. Love will be with us, our shield and our rock and our fortress. And the other thing that we can take with us as we enter into this new year is the knowledge that God, a displaced God, stands with the marginalized. That we are being called forth to stand beside our brothers and sisters, our neighbors and friends who are vulnerable now and for the years to come. That it is more than just the right thing to do, that it is deeply spiritual work. When I do something new, I like to say a blessing. And so for all of you this morning, as we all start something new, a new year, a new administration, a new beginning in our lives, whatever that may look like, I would like to say a blessing upon all of you. Beloved God, beloved Creator, light and love and peace, I ask for your blessing upon each person here today. May they never feel alone in this new year to come. May they always have a sense that your light surrounds them and lifts them up. Whatever challenges or joys this year will bring, may we always have a sense of the light that we each carry within us. Blessed Creator, God of uncertainty, of wilderness times, may you open before us a way, a path through the unknown. May you gift us with the tools that we need to do your good work. God, may ever before our eyes be the image of your light and love. May we see in every person we encounter that blessed light. May that light be a fire that we carry within us that sets us alight for justice and peace, to do the hard work of love that you have called us to. God, above all else, may we be blessed with a sense of your divine grace, a grace that is given to each of us, that is rained upon this whole beautiful, messy world. Amen, and God bless.